take those steps beyond your way. Take those steps. When you have a dream, you gotta start. It's the only way. If you're gonna shine, and you're gonna shine, shine, shine. You're gonna shine. You're gonna shine, and we are shining bright on Memorial Day. It's a beautiful day on the ranch. No place I'd rather be. So I know we got some people listening already. So again, oh, who's here already? Billy's here. And you guys know we are spanning the globe for the best in indie Americana music. And we are so glad to have you here on the ranch, brought to you by Blast Music 24/7, your one-stop for indie music. And it's a great place. They're really good. We're all things indie here. And Blast Music is nothing but supportive to indie artists. Gives them a great platform to showcase music. So if you want to showcase your music or you're trying to find new music, you got to go to Blast Music 24/7. We are also radio stations. Plow Zone out in California and My Indie Radio out in France is also listening in, which we love to have you guys listening in week to week. Again, for the best in indie Americana music. And To the Max Advertising, again, you got to brand. And if you know an artist's name, somebody branded it and helped you remember them. So that's always important to indie artists, right? And Hotel Universe, again, you got to look pro when you're putting out music. And Hotel Universe, tell them Randie sent you, and they're going to give you a great deal. So, all right. Well, thank you, Billy. Good. I was trying to get out in the sun, trying to get some color, but it's a little cool today yet. Little cool. All right. So we got some great music. We got Ladies' Night tonight. I just love it. Melody's in the house.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
DeBraux?
DeBraux.
DeBraux. Oh, so close.
It's not really pronounced how it's spelled, but it's French.
I got that. I've been to France. I've been to Paris.
It's a beautiful city.
Have, My Indie Radio is out of France. They're actually listening.
That's so cool. Salut tout le monde.
That's amazing.
I need to write some music in French. I have yet to do that.
You know, I tried translating a song, and it was a simple chorus, and it just doesn't translate, you know? So I'm like, I really should start from that language and work with somebody, collaborate with somebody, because I have pockets around the world, you know, Spain and fans and stuff. I thought would be the coolest thing. So
that's so cool that you've got that. So yeah, we grew up with a grandmother that refused to speak English, so so we had to learn French in order to communicate with my mom's mom. So but it's a great asset. I wish that and hoped that someday I kind of delve into it from a songwriting perspective and put out some music in French. My father would love it.
Oh, I bet he would. I bet he would. I dabble in a little German, spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
That's a tough language to learn.
You know what? If you live in Pennsylvania, schools still teach German. German, really? French, or Spanish. Yeah. So I went through high school learning German, and it is a tough language.
It's a very tough language. It's a cool language, though, for sure. Anytime I hear it on shows on TikTok and whatnot, I stop and listen, but I understand nothing.
I try to pick up a spattering, you know, and I think I do, you know, but I don't know. I don't know.
Probably. I think it sits there in a file cabinet somewhere, even all those high school lessons.
All right, guys, listening. Anyone out there bilingual? I admire people who speak different languages. I really, really do. I used to be able to curse fluently in 7 different languages. It was like the pride of my childhood.
That's so cool. I try and learn hello, goodbye, and thank you in as many languages as possible. But we were really lucky. My dad lived in Singapore, so I grew up traveling the world and just being exposed to all different kinds of sounds and music. And my father, being a music lover and musician as well, really did an awesome job of exposing us to that. It was primarily jazz because he was a jazz musician, but um, but yeah, there's some gorgeous music all over the world, and I love it when people come in speaking different languages or teaching me something new about their music, you know, and the music of their language.
Now, you were exposed to a lot of different languages. So I kind of have to ask, why Americana? Why did you head in that direction?
You know, it's strange because I just found that my sound and my vocals sat with that, but the type of music that I wrote was very similar. And when I started listening to more country and Americana music as I was writing music myself, I moved to Texas, which definitely got me in that country vibe after college.
Right.
But I just fell in love with it. It's so raw and so different, and I, you know, love the lyrics to a lot of these songs. And I just found the musicality of that music just to really hit, you know, hit a vibe with me and strike a chord with me, pun intended. But
Strike a chord.
yes, it really did though. So, you know, and it was funny because I always thought, oh, my music is pop, but my family would listen to my songs and be like, oh, I'm not that into country, but you know, it's a great country song. And I just thought to myself, okay, well, that's kind of my forte, is writing country, indie kind of country alternative and Americana music.
And you did talk about the musicality, and I think there's an imagery that goes with country and a storytelling that
Very
goes
much so. It's
with
just beautiful
country.
music, and I love the stories behind the songs. And it's more than just, oh, you know, heartbreak music. I'm really good at writing heartbreak music, don't get me
You
wrong.
are awesome at heartbreak music. You got it down.
But I love the other, you know, I love the stories of positivity and the fun songs that, you know, that people write within that realm. And
You
it's
do. You do set up a scene, but then you do try to put a spin on it that gives a little bit more inspiration.
there's definitely been some times when I've written with other people, particularly I sang in a duo through college, and probably my first 10 years of living in Houston, with another songwriter, and she's now out of Park City, Shannon Runyon. But we wrote a lot of songs together, and she used to tell me, like, don't you want to finish that one on a happy note, you know, like let's change the lyrics a little bit, and you know, make it a little more make it a little more positive. So, and we wrote a lot of funny stuff together too, which I enjoyed.
Oh, funny music's tough.
It can be. You really got to focus on a good subject. We
Yeah.
wrote we wrote Sugar Daddy together, and it was kind of making fun of the whole scenario and dynamic because we were so young at the time that we wrote it. But I love the funny songs that we've written that kind of reflect funny moments in our lives.
Right. And we talked about musicality, that I'm listening to your songs and they're just beautifully done. But I have to get over my Americana guitar snobbery that, oh, a country song is guitar, still guitar driven. And it doesn't have to be.
No, and I think now more so, you can't even define what country music is because there's so many pop artists and alternative artists that have delved into the country scene. Shoot, Beyonce went country.
That's
But
that's a debate though.
yeah, I agree. I prefer her in her R&B genre. I will say that much.
I think it's
But
still R&B with country undertones.
true. And I don't know if it's cliche to say you can add a steel guitar and make a song country. I've written some songs that we in the studio added steel guitar, and it just totally changed the definition of the song, so to speak,
Yeah,
making it more country. But I think you can write and produce raw tracks without tons of instruments and without a whole bunch of production, and it still be defined within that genre.
right. You know, there are certain elements that people are going to look for to call it country. But it doesn't need the steel guitar. It doesn't, you're going to hear guitars, but it doesn't have to be driven by guitars. You know, it still has the imagery and the sentiment and the flavor that makes a country Americana song.
Absolutely. And another thing I've noticed too is there's a lot of bands out there that have thrown in kind of more obscure samples into their songs, and I don't know if it pulls away from the Americana vibe or if it's just adding to it. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I like that new kind of feel to music that people are calling country. But, you know, these artists that are collaborating, Post Malone and Morgan Wallen, I mean, I never thought I'd live to see the day, but it's pretty cool.
I know. There's one with Billy Idol and Adele.
No way.
I nearly crashed my car. I'm like, and you know, I'm listening to the song and I'm like, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like this. And I saw who the artists were and I'm like, I don't in a million years. And the Post Malone one as well.
One that I'd really like to listen to more is I saw an interview between Brandi Carlile and Elton John, and they collaborated. And what I heard was amazing. And I think they're just a really great combination.
I heard Carrie Underwood and Papa Roach too, and I really, yeah, really good song.
That must have been, I'm gonna have to listen to that one. Was he singing?
I'll leave the light on for you. Yeah.
Oh wow, there's so much collaboration going on out there between genres. It's pretty cool because when I was younger, you were always told you had to fit within a certain, you know, genre if you wanted to be heard, if you wanted to have airplay. And I always felt like it'd be really cool if that wasn't the case. And I think a lot of artists feel that way because music is music, and the love of music is, you know, kind of universal and crosses different genres. I happen to really like hip hop, which nobody would guess, but you know, I enjoy it. I enjoy the samples. I want to sing on some samples of those songs, and you know.
And there was a video that had some hip hop elements in it. I saw. I was watching. I forgot the name of it.
I am trying to think of which one it could be. It could be a YouTube. Well, there's a couple of stations that when I first released the album Blue Skies that I did interviews on, and they were mainly hip hop stations, but the DJs, you know, or the programmers said, oh my gosh, you know, this is a really cool pop song, so let's feature it on our show. And everyone listening would be like, what is this girl doing on the show? But, you know, I think it grabbed a lot of attention in that. And I think it's cool to expose people to different types of music, even if they're listening to a hip hop show, to surprise them with some pop music and some, you know, more heartfelt songs in that sense, and musical songs.
Well, since we mentioned Blue Skies, we'll go out of order. We'll totally be funky today. Like,
all right,
we'll just go wacky and wild. We'll go out of order. So let's talk about Blue Skies.
I love that.
Not a hip hop song, but it was wound up on hip hop stations, and I think that's wild.
I know. I thought so too. Blue Skies was a song that I wrote in 2017 after my sound engineer and next door neighbor passed away in a freak skydiving accident. And it was really tragic what happened. He and his wife used to let me record at their house, and he would produce all the music free of charge. It was just one of the greatest gifts I ever had in making my music come to life. And Shannon and I produced an album at his studio, an 11-song album, and I'm slowly releasing that music one song by one song. But it was just, to me, one of the greatest gifts I've ever received in being able to make my music come to life. And when he passed away, I just felt the need to write a song for his wife, and I wrote a song to kind of heal from it myself. And when he went skydiving, which is, if he was going to go out, that's the way he would have wanted to go, he always said, "Oh, there's blue skies today, blue skies." So I said that was, right away the first thing that came to mind when writing the lyrics. But yeah, it's a sad and gut-wrenching song, but it was a really tragic time, and just a good way to digest what happened and to share that with the world and my listeners.
Because there is a tone to it. So guys, we're going to listen to Blue Skies. Let me pull those back here and see how it wound up on hip-hop stations.
Nothing but blue skies, setting her blue eyes with a fire in my heart, and I don't know where to start. Nothing but hell-bent on someone so heaven sent, and I'm sitting here in rain. We'll never be the same again. Will you climb the highest mountains? Watched you soar above the ground, and I think about my youth and drinking from the fountain that I found. But another day goes by and I just can't escape the sound of silence, and your blue skies leave me crying in the rain. Nothing but heartache and a heart attack I can't take. They say that good news travels fast, and when it comes I'm gonna push it back. I know you wouldn't wanna see me ever angry or unhappy, but what the hell do you expect? Sometimes I feel like I am losing all that's left, and I know that it'll all come together with time. Those freaking words of yours are only setting off a landmine. Yeah, you told me I'll be fine, but how when you're my peace of mind, and now I'm nothing but blue skies crying in the rain. Nothing but blue skies, setting my blue eyes. How the hell is this for real? And how the hell am I gonna deal? Nothing but heartache and a heart attack I can't take, but maybe thinking about your blue skies will keep me smiling in the rain.
I agree with Robert Mays. That's an amazing song. Your
Oh,
amazing
thank
voice.
you.
Now, I don't hear hip hop, but I really thought you were going to start yodeling at the bridge.
Well, the first thing that came to mind during that bridge was Joni Mitchell. And I love the way she used to just use her head voice in certain parts of her songs. And so I think without thinking about it, it kind of emulates her style. But gosh, the first time I heard that song fully produced, I cried like a baby. It was just so emotional and just amazing to hear it come to life aside from just on a voice memo.
Yeah, and Robert's clapping. I think a lot of people are clapping for that one.
Oh, thank you guys.
So you guys listening in, where are you listening from on this Monday night? Well, we're up in Pennsylvania. We have a break in the weather. Where are you hailing from these days, Melody?
I am out of Oklahoma nowadays. So I moved to Tulsa from Houston, where I was for 23 years, and decided I needed a change of pace and to be closer to my daughters. And I love it up here. People are so friendly. The music scene is pretty amazing. There's a lot of talent in this town. I've joined a couple bands. I'm going to start playing solo here in the next couple months. It was nice to take some time off and get acquainted with Tulsa in general, but it's a beautiful city. I think it's very underrated. And the live music scene is pretty hopping here, which is awesome.
That's great. I got interviewed on a radio station in Tulsa. But people really loving your song. Julio Beltram says it's a great song. Robert Mays is hearing Bonnie Raitt. So, and
she's
Billy,
a huge influence of mine. So yeah, Robert, I tend to emulate the vocals of the artists that I love the most, and not emulate, but I feel like I like to channel them. So thank you. I'm glad y'all like the song.
Is that your biggest influence, would you say? Bonnie Raitt?
She's up there. I would definitely say bigger than that would be Sheryl Crow, particularly when I first started writing music, I listened to a lot of Jewel. When I first started writing on the piano, it was Tori Amos. I mean, I kind of just grabbed from all different kind of female artists that I adored as far as their songwriting goes.
I heard Tori Amos, yeah.
But yeah, she's got some amazing stuff. They're definitely there's some gut-wrenching music there, but gosh, her piano playing is out of this world.
Once in a While band loves you.
Yeah, hi guys. That's actually the band that I started singing in Tulsa. So I'm super excited y'all are on. Yay.
Oh, thank you guys for watching tonight and joining us on the ranch. So great. All right, so let's talk about the next one coming up, because we're going to go to YouTube. You Do You. Now, how did that come about?
You Do You was a breakup song that I wrote years ago, and I started it on paper, lyrics wise, probably 15 years before I finished the song. I started fiddling with a melody on the piano and found the beginning of these lyrics and said, okay, and the song just came to life in that lyrically. So eventually I really wanted to record that song because, funnily enough, I wrote it with a man singing it in mind. And when I recorded my album in 2021, that song had to be on there. I recorded it on voice memo, which I do a lot with the newer songs, and played it for a few friends, and they said, wow, this is a great song. You definitely need to record this one. You definitely need to release it. So that was another one that I was just so happy to hear fully produced and fully ready to go. And it didn't really need a lot, more than just the piano and vocals, which was pretty cool. We tried to, here's a song that we tried to keep fairly simple in the production phase of it. And I feel like it kind of, I feel like, one of the bigger influences with that song would maybe be Adele and some of the big power artists out there that have these amazing vocals. Gosh, it would be a dream to hear her sing that song. But yeah, it's very near and dear to my heart. And I think a lot of people can relate to that part in the breakup phase where you're kind of wondering and going back and forth as to whether or not you should stay in the relationship or part ways.
Right. Is it worth fighting for? You don't know sometimes. It's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. I love writing music that touches people's hearts and that they can relate to in some way or another. That, I think music can be really therapeutic. Even the sad songs can be an outlet for people. And if a song makes you cry, then cry it out and listen to that song, because it will help you digest the tears.
Yeah, sometimes it's where you are, and you want music that you can relate to. Sometimes you want to work out and just, have the 120 beats per minute going,
Absolutely. There's definitely songs that I love dancing to, and I'm working on writing some more upbeat stuff and even delving into more electronic music and singing samples for DJs and whatnot. Just because I feel like, and I've been told a lot, that it would be cool to hear me do more upbeat stuff. I love the ballads and I love, the more emotional songs, but I think it's good as an artist to kind of keep up with what's out there and try different things.
Yeah, and sometimes when I have a message, I'll hide it behind an upbeat, up tempo and get people singing along. Like you said with Olivia, it's like, oh, Olivia. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. This is about something really important, So I
really liked your song Crash and Burn too. I thought that was a really good one.
My pet Benatar rocker.
That's the first thing I thought of, was like, oh my gosh, this gives a total like 80s rocker vibe to it. But yeah, great songs. You've got some great music out there.
Oh, and that video we did in Costa Rica, we borrowed this one, the owner of where we were staying, we borrowed his car, his truck.
Nice.
It was so
Costa Rica's beautiful. I've only been once, but oh my gosh, I want to go back.
So fun. But you love video too. You love, one of your songs got turned into like a full-length feature.
Yes, You Do You, that particular single, I was approached by a friend of a friend who wanted to produce a music video, Randie Lerner, another great Randie. I've worked with a lot of amazing Randies.
Randies are amazing.
They are. Funnily enough, my sound engineer, who I wrote Blue Skies for, was also a Randie Shell. And anyway, so Randie Lerner and Rafael Suarez got together, and we got together with a small group of brainstormers and said, okay, we want to create a music video. And I said, well, can we do one for You Do You? I really love this song and I think it would be a good story. So they kind of created the story and the storyline, and they said, we want to make it more than just a music video. We want to have, like a flashback scene in it. And when we watched the final product, and wow, Rafi and Randie put in some hours and did an amazing job putting it together. But when we watched the final product, I was just in tears and said, wow, this is my life on screen. And the acting was so good. There were some just total improv scenes of them arguing and talking that we thought this would make an amazing short film. So the guys got together and decided to turn it into a 13-minute short. And the acting was just incredible. Leopoldine and Tom Vera did an amazing job.
That is an amazing story that they again, it shows the power of the imagery of Americana music and your imagery, that they're like caught the whole story and just took it and ran with it. It's just amazing that happened.
It was pretty cool. It's awesome to see that, I think it really reflects on a lot of relationships, particularly those when you're young and you're not sure what your purpose is in life. And I think that, that it was turned into a film and made that was just, I'm honored that was the case, that it inspired a story like that. And definitely love that video. It's my favorite product video wise that we've done so far. And yeah, the guys were awesome to work with. Just a lot of great talent there. And everything, the whole cast and crew, it took about 2-3 days to film, and was just so exciting and a dream come true.
That is a dream come true. Check that box off. That's amazing.
For sure.
All right, guys, I have some good news and bad news here. We are going to hear the song. We are not going to see the 13-minute short, though.
No, but that one's soon to come, soon to be released. So keep an eye out.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to maybe we can premiere it. Maybe we could do a behind the scenes for you.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I don't know if you have a lot of footage, but I do that a lot with my videos. But for my fans, I have, my fan page, and they always get the behind the scenes stuff. So
that would be cool.
For you.
We have a couple behind the scenes, like interview/trailers on the production, on the producer's YouTube page that, one they did that was super funny. And so I'm excited for the film to actually be released. It actually the music won a couple awards in film festivals that we entered it into. So it was pretty cool to, to ride that wave.
Yeah, and Karen Silvis is chiming in that she's loving your music. So let's see if I can pull this up. Oh my goodness, your screen.
Karen, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for having a listen today.
Okay, if I'm doing this right. Oh, it's working.
Woohoo!
All right, now we got to make sure we hear the music, the sound. So here we go.
Sunrises, moonsets, days go by so slow, and I'm stuck here in between with nowhere to go. Can't talk till you look at you, it's all my fault. Seems like everything I do just rubs a wound in salt. I know that I've done you wrong. You've been nothing but good to me for so damn long, and I don't know where to go from here. Should I stay and face the music or just disappear? Oh, baby. Maybe this is how it's supposed to end. We just go our separate ways, honey, still be friends. Maybe this is how it has to be. Darling, you do you, and I'll do me, and maybe I can still call you baby. Well, I loved you like a rock, you turned me into dust. Will it ever be the same now that we've lost that trust? Trusting you, can't even trust myself. Seems like everything we do just puts the salt on the shelf. I know that you've done me wrong, and you're gonna have to live with that your whole life long. Still, I don't know where to go from here. Would it up and go away if we just disappear, oh baby. Maybe this is how it's supposed to end. We just go our separate ways, only still be friends. Maybe this is how it has to be. Honey, you do you, and I'll do me, and maybe I can still call you baby. Maybe this is how it's supposed to end. We just go our separate ways, only still be friends. Maybe this is how it has to be. Honey, you do you, and I'll do me, and maybe. Oh, maybe this is how it's supposed to end. We just go our separate ways, only still be friends. Maybe this is how it has to be. Honey, you do you, and I'll do me, and maybe I can still call you baby. Whoa, whoa, still call you baby.
And we are back on the ranch. We are brought to you by Blast Music 24/7, your one stop for all indie artists. We are also listening My Indie Radio out of France. We always love having you week to week. Thank you for chiming in. And Plow Zone out in California. Always love our listeners. Thank you so much. You're the reason we do what we do. And we are here with Melody with her beautiful song. And I agree with Billy on this one. Lots of feeling in that one. So heartfelt. We were crying with you in the bathtub there, Melody.
Funnily enough, I laugh because a lot of people have seen that video and say, wow, we didn't know that you could act too. That's amazing. And I'm like, well, actually, that's my stunt double. The guys found an actress, Leopoldine Galinsky, who looked a lot like me. We could pass as sisters, I'd say. She looks like a younger version of me. So much so that people couldn't tell that it was a different person playing those scenes. So I got a real kick out of that.
Clearly we're shading the face, but the hair was curlier, kinkier.
Yeah, her hair is definitely curlier. I mean, I've used a curling iron today, but her hair has definitely got more curl to it. Mine's more of a wave.
Wave. No, but yeah, they filmed it beautifully. They filmed it beautifully.
Oh, I thought they did such a great job, and they put it together so well. They couldn't have done a better job as far as what I imagined it to become. And these guys had an idea and they wrote the script, and I just decided, wow, initially I wanted to be very involved in it, but they said, let yourself be the star and we'll put everything else together. And wow, they put together something amazing. And so it was really cool to be a part of that.
I guess that's the difference between a film and a video. The film, they're concentrating on the story, and the video was really the song.
Yeah, for sure.
Song,
And they focused more on the actors in the film, obviously, because they did such an amazing job, and the story was, so relatable to so many people. You kind of want to know what happens next. So I wonder sometimes if they're gonna, continue on with these characters. And, you definitely, there's been talks of that. So looking forward to releasing the short film finally and seeing what happens next.
Julio says, I believe the entire band is glad more than glad to have you sing with us.
Oh, thank you guys. I'm
Great.
super, super honored to be singing with them. Once in a While Band is pretty awesome.
And Karen, the melody, I Love You, Do You. Great music and lyrics.
Thank you, Karen. Hope you guys are having a good evening.
And this is a reminder to make sure that you follow Blast Music channel. If you like the show, you want to hear more indie, show us some love, show us some support, and support your indie artists always, guys. You know, and speaking of indie artists, a woman as an indie artist, what's your biggest challenge in the business?
I think the biggest challenge is to stay true to being independent, because so many people think, oh, you should do this, you should do that. More and more artists nowadays are maintaining their independence because, you know, the record industry and labels in the past took advantage big time. But I think the biggest challenge is staying true to that and staying real to that, and kind of, you know, I've been independent for over 25 years, and call me stubborn, but it would take a lot for me to give it all up to another label. And I like the fact that it's small scale. I think indie and small scale keeps it humble and can be more genuine. It's really hard in the music scene, especially when you're trying to get music and movies out there, to stay true to yourself and not fall into that, you know, what can be a very fake environment. So that's the biggest challenge, I think.
And I along that line, you can get drawn into that trap of trying to write things people are going to like, instead of writing a song and finding people who like your song.
Oh yeah, totally. And you know, and you run into people that tell you, oh, you need to be this way, you need to be that way. This is how you should portray yourself to your audience and to your fans. And I'm like, well, I just want to be myself, not, you know, some random unfamiliar person that the industry creates. So I think that's kind of can be a real challenge in being an independent artist. But it's also one of the things that makes indie artists so cool, is that I think the majority of us stay true to ourselves, even if they make it big, which is, you know, what's really awesome about it.
Yeah, and some have punched through, you know, and I think a lot of us are just finding ways to define success and find our own, you know, niches that we're good at and want to be successful and want to be known for.
Absolutely. I always felt myself more of a songwriter. I would love to hear another artist sing my songs. But I remember when I first started recording at 18, I said to myself, all I want to do is produce an album that I'm proud of. You know, that's really, if I can do that in life, regardless of who listens to it, I'll feel like I've accomplished something. And I've been able to produce, you know, 2 of them and a lot of singles, and it's been really cool to live that dream, living the dream. It's been awesome.
Yeah, my first album that I produced out in LA, Marty Rifkin hands me, you know, the master, and he goes, all right, do yourself a favor. Don't get it reviewed. Don't ask for opinions. This is what you put together. You're proud of it. You know what your budget was and everything. He's like, you don't need anyone to tell you, you know, what's good.
Exactly. What album was that of yours? Now having
that one was Woman I Am.
Okay.
And,
okay.
Thanks, Billy. We should be really proud. We have supporters like you, and that always makes me so happy.
Yes,
you guys come back week to week. I love you guys. And Woman I Am, I did a lot of lessons on that. One of the lessons was mastering your work before you put it up online. Because I put a song called Call My Name. Do not, people listening to me right now, do not look for this song. I put it up there and I went, oh my God. That's, because when you put it up on streaming, it squishes things. You only get a teeny weeny bandwidth, and if it's not mastered properly, it goes all array when it gets, and Call My Name went all types of wonky. And I tried to take it down and it won't disappear. It won't go away.
Once it's on the web, I have to say, there's really a lot to be said about what sound engineers and producers can create in that mixing and mastering. Sound engineers are just have a talent that I cannot define. I wouldn't be able to create the music I create, and particularly with You Do You without Roger Taus and Mike Spencer and Chris Dodson, another producer and musician who helped me put it all together and put some cool guitar on it. And I have to say, they're the unsung heroes of the industry.
I was just gonna say that. You took my line. Whose show is this? No, I'm sorry. No, you're absolutely right. Like, people don't understand what a sound engineer, what these people do. The difference between a CD, an album, different streaming platforms. They make these beautiful, huge sounding songs, and then Apple and Spotify kill it and make it teeny weeny. And these guys know how to still make it sound like something.
Yeah, it's pretty cool what they can do, just knowing, what they have to manipulate in order to make the song sound like it did when you were listening to it in the studio when it was finished. So
I know people are like, oh, there's not much to that song. And they're like, if you really only knew what really is making that sound, you think it's only 2 or 3 instruments, and it's not. It's this huge thing that audio engineers do just to blend sound. It's amazing, the process.
Yeah, it really is. There's a science to it that I will never understand.
Not in my wheelhouse.
Roger, I remember when we were recording the songs and playing them back, he'd get all excited and say, isn't it amazing that this is what we get to do? We get to share this with the world. Like, this is what we do. We create music. And I just, I got very sentimental when he said that. And I was like, wow, like, it's so cool to work with someone that has that mindset and mentality about his craft.
Right. Totally agree. All right. So we one last song, and this is a live song. It's Out of Sight Live. So tell me about Out of Sight Live.
Out of Sight Live. I used to play in Houston at this place called the Kelvin Arms Pub, and somebody asked me to play some originals, and Shannon Runyon and I wrote this song in our 20s yet again about an overeager boyfriend who ultimately wasn't appreciated despite being like, it's always the nice guys that fall short. And I think we need to give more props to the nice guys, but this kind of is a funny reflection of the mentality of some women when they are approached by somebody who treats them well. So there's a lot of funniness to it. And I think it's also kind of a cool song in that it reflects on the fact that a woman doesn't have to be with someone or super interested in someone to live her life. So yeah, so she's kind of ranting about his eagerness to have a relationship when she's not as interested.
Right. And I think this is a great kind of bar song, like, that people listening along to.
Yeah,
so,
we turned it into a 2-stepper in the studio. So it's on the album Blue Sky. So yeah, have a listen to it. Fully produced too. It's fun.
All right, let's listen to Live.
A long time ago, because I had this darling little stalker that he was so sweet. He was my boyfriend for about 2 weeks because he, you always want the mean guys, but It was so sweet. It was too much too soon. So anyway, it sparked this song called Out of Sight. I don't think about you when you're not around. I never check my emails 'cause I know they're all from you. And I don't count the days when you'll be back in town. It's not that I don't care, I just have better things to do. They say that absence makes a heart grow fonder. Boy, your absence is only making my eyes wander. So count your losses, baby, you've run out of time. Hate to say it, out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight. Oh, you sent so many flowers that my neighbors think I'm dead. I got your 18th voicemail and your text, baby, between. And every time the doorbell rings, I start to lose my head. I wish you weren't so sweet, 'cause baby, it makes me feel so mean. Think it's time that you took all your gifts back. No way, never mind, I'd like that little dress in black. Call me crazy, call me stupid, call me blind. But denying you're out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight.
I agree with Billy on that one. Great lyrics, like laugh out loud lyrics. The flowers.
Yes, Shannon's got a lot of talent in helping me write really funny songs, and we got a real kick out of the lyrics to that one. I forgot, just watching it made me, I forgot how much I enjoyed performing that song. I've listened to the recording so often that I forgot that I used to play that live before it was even recorded.
I know, Julio's loving it. Bravo.
Oh, I'm glad.
Which is amazing.
Well, I'm so happy that we were able to play it live. Gosh, that brings back a lot of memories. That pub helped me grow as a musician so much, and that I played there so often, full band, solo, like in all different ways, shapes and forms, in a duo. I've got they closed down and it's now a place called the Owl, but I loved the Kelvin Arms. We had a tight knit crew that used to come and listen to music there and, just come and tell stories and hang out. It was fun.
So what are you working on next? What's up next, Melody?
Well, right now I have that library of songs of songs that I still haven't released. Some songs that Shannon and I wrote together. So I haven't decided whether I want to release them in a bunch or just single by single. And I think I'm going to do it single by single, just based on, how I'm feeling. But I've also started practicing with this Once in a While band, which has been pretty awesome, and getting back into the playing live scene. So that's kind of what's next, is kind of dipping my toes in the Tulsa music scene. And I've finally built enough confidence to say, okay, I can do this. I was in Houston for a long time, so made a name for myself there. And you forget, it's really humbling to come to a completely different town and kind of have to start all over. But I'm so excited to get involved in this scene, and hopefully a lot more recording. At the moment, I'm going to be recording songs that other people have written, which is going to be exciting too. So hopefully we'll have new releases.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
I also just recently moved too, and it is very humbling to start all over again.
Absolutely. Where did you move to and from?
I was in northern New Jersey, so I had the whole New York scene, Jersey, some very active listening rooms there. So now I'm in the Lehigh Valley, which is a big music area, but it's a big music area. So getting a foothold.
Absolutely. It can be tough. It can be tough. It's exciting, I think, but I'm also kind of nervous about it and hope that I'm well received.
Oh, you're going to do great. Melody, they're going to love you. How can they not? Come on.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind. I hope that is the case.
I want to come out to alcohol. We should do a show together. We should
Oh, that would be awesome. I'll set it up if you come on.
Set it up. I will come.
You would love the Tulsa music scene too. There's just such an array of cool different bands. I would love to see some more Tulsa bands on your show. In fact, there's some.
You know what? Give them my form, my application. Send them my way.
I will for sure. I will. And yeah, just give me a holler when you're ready to come down here. We'll get something set up.
Yeah, maybe in the fall, like cool. September, October.
Yes, by then I will have been playing for a little bit, so that'll be good.
Okay.
Yay! Right. That would be fun.
That would be. I can make it happen.
Okay, cool.
Well, I can make it happen, then I can come out to you. That'd be fun. Because there was a radio station that has me on rotation there, so I would love to. I would do like a little radio tour.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool. You could do an interview with them too while you're in town.
Okay, Mindy wants to road trip. She's my drummer.
All right, Mindy, come on out. I love female drummers. I think that's so cool.
Yep. She's good.
There's an essence about like an all-female band too, or just female drummers that I really admire and love.
Right. They're very unique and textured. They can hold it down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see when it does.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much, those are the 3 of hopefully many songs to release and that I have released. Hopefully people check out Blue Skies and some of the other singles that I have out there. I would love that. And gosh, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Again, underneath, if any bands, indie artist wants to be on the ranch, it's Randie O'Neil, Randie with RandieOneil.com/shows. And that's my application. I'll check it out and we can get you on the ranch. Like Melody, we're so glad to have you.
Thank you.
Where is Kim? Okay, I have to talk to her. Missed her tonight. All right. So we are here every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Melody, thank you so much for being on the show and taking time out. When you have new stuff together, we'll bring you back on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Randie. All the best.
All right. Good night, everyone. And we will
I'll see you in Tulsa.
Yes. Live. Night now.